I am here today with Jeff Brewer. He is a candidate for school board. And so, Jeff, would you please tell the audience what district you're running for and why you're running for it?
Well, I'm running for District 4 school board. And the reason I'm running is I've been a teacher for 20 years. Actually, I've been a teacher in one way or another for about 50 years. But I've been a teacher for 20 years, 16 of which in Marion County schools, especially in special ed. And even though I retired 2 years ago, there's still more of me that I want to give back, and I want to serve the students, parents, teachers, and administrators that are in this school district. I have more to give, and I have some insight that I want to work with to make things better for everybody in the county.
Excellent. Thank you. So, for the sake of the audience, this interview is to address matters that concern the Christian community in Marion County.
Yes.
So these questions are designed to answer those particular needs. And so my bias in this interview is that I am looking for good Christian values to be on my school board. And so the questions are tailored as such. First question I want to ask is, how does your faith inform your decision making?
Well, my faith and me are inseparable. I've been saved for almost 50 years, and I cannot imagine going through life without Jesus being the head of my life. So my faith is integral to anything that I say and do, and it's the plumb line that I run my life by. So yes, it's integral to who I am.
Do you see traditional Judeo-Christian values as being the best foundation for education?
Absolutely. I mean, it's what has made America great. It's the basis for our Declaration of Independence, which we are celebrating this summer. The education and values go together. You cannot separate the two. So if you take out Judeo-Christian values, you lose something, and something will fill its place.
Do you believe that it is appropriate to separate your faith from your role on the school board?
No, and I won't do it. And in fact, I will stand up for Christian, Judeo-Christian values in everything that I say and do on the school board. I've done that at the national convention for the union. I spoke up and spoke for unborn children. Didn't make me any friends, but I made a point to stand up and say that in front of that powerful group. And I'll continue to do that and other things based on my faith.
This is a bit of a personal question. What is your favorite chapter of the Bible and why?
Well, I think Romans 12 is good because I'm a work in progress. Romans 12:1, I beseech thee, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice. Mm-hmm. And we're supposed to take up our cross every day. So every day I hope to be more like Jesus. The second verse is don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And I try to be a better version of that every day. 5 years from now, I want to be a better Christian than I am today. So those two are really important. Right behind it is the scriptures in Philippians that says God will never leave you nor forsake you. He's working you both to will and to do for your good pleasure, and that he will complete the work he's begun in you until the day of his coming. So those are foundational for me. They remind me that I'm loved at all times. They remind me that I'm a work in progress. They point me in the right direction.
What is your stance on abortion?
Well, I believe it's taking of an innocent life that has a right to live. So I'm against abortion. I'm for moms to be that are in that difficult situation. I've dealt with that issue in my life, and I know a lot of other people have too. So I have compassion, but I also stand with that unborn life that has a right to live.
Do you believe that children should be taught about fetal development?
Absolutely. I mean, as long as it's age appropriate and factual, I think definitely yes. I mean, 80% of women who are planning on going to an abortion, if they watch that film, they change their mind. And I think, like I said before, that children have a right to live even in the womb.
What is your opinion on posting the 10 Commandments in public schools?
Well, I think the Ten Commandments are awesome. They're God's real clear attempt to bring order to the world, to order our conduct, and I think we need those kind of reminders to frame our space in terms of Judeo-Christian values.
Would you vote yes for a school chaplain?
Absolutely, I'd love. I hope to be that my version of that in the schools. Uh, I mean, a pastor once said to me, there are four kinds of people: adders, subtractors, multipliers, and dividers. And I always want to be an adder and a multiplier. So I don't want to go into schools to be a threat to anyone. I want to go to help them do a better job. And I think being a minister of 20 years, I'm in a position to hold confidences and to minister to people as I go about and as I move around the schools in my district and around the county. And I want to make that space better and more friendly for everyone.
What would you say is the role of the gospel in the lives of children?
Well, children are a blessing. You know, it says, blessed is the man who has a quiver full. Moms too. So I think the gospel is everything to me. You know, Ephesians 6 talks about our feet being shod in the gospel of peace. I think every believer should go forth to create a space before them and around them that is amenable to the gospel. That means serving people, even if they don't agree with that message, to love on people where they are, to have compassion of people who are in difficult circumstances.
Do you believe that intelligent design should be taught alongside the current evolution curriculum in public schools?
Oh, absolutely. I think it should be. I think it's going to be a political process to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was asked, would I approve that? Absolutely. Would I use my influence to have it happen in the schools? Yes.
Give me your thoughts on transgender ideology in schools.
Well, you know, I think people are all born in the image of God. I do not accept that ideology, but we have to accept the people that embrace it. That means that if there are people working in the schools with our kids, we can't throw them out. I think it's against civil rights law or to do that. But at the same time, they're living a lie. And as kindly as we can, we need to be firm to the values that there are only two sexes, male and female.
To what degree do you believe it is appropriate for schools to keep information about students hidden from their parents?
I don't agree with that at all. I'm totally against. Parents are the primary source of education of their children. Their values should be honored at when all possible. Period.
What is your sense of the priorities of the parents in our community for the education of their children? What is your perception of their wants and their needs for our school system?
Well, I think every parent, every grandparent who's involved in the lives of their grandkids, every one of them wants the best. They want the best economic opportunity. They want the best spiritual opportunity as they view it, and they want the best educational opportunity that they can get. And that's why people move schools for specialty programs here in Marion County. That's why they change their kids if they're having a difficult experience in one school or another. There's so much traffic on the roads when the schools are in session because people are driving their kids and their grandkids to the best opportunity that they see for their schools. I mean, it says in the Bible, train up a child in the way they will go, and when they're old, they'll not depart from it. So as a grandfather, I'm looking at my grandkids and saying, okay, where are their gifts? How do I get them the education and the atmosphere in which they can flourish?
What is your number one goal on the board for the education of students?
Well, I believe that in these times, in these economic times, with inflation the way it is, with the school board budgets being strained because of new schools and difficulty retaining their staff, I think what we need to do is open the door to Christian groups to come in, to mentor our kids, to teach them what they need to learn, to be another adult body with values who is teaching them how to read and write and about civics and their social responsibility. I mean, we need a society 20 years from now that reflects good moral teaching in our schools.
So how do you plan to achieve that?
Well, I think trying to influence principals and the superintendent to open the door to Christian groups, with people with morals and values, is an influence situation. I mean, we run the budget, we hire and fire and hold accountable the superintendent. We celebrate the successes of the school board, but we also need to have a position of influence in the schools to help teachers do a better job, to help counselors, to help subject area masters, to help the assistant principals and the principals and the superintendent all look good. If they see that I can add something to their situation to make them look good, to have better success in the classroom with the kids, then I think they'll accept that influence and open the door for people of faith to come in.
What is your position on the use of technology in the classroom?
Well, I've seen kids go through their iReady, Reflex, all their computer programs faster than I can read them. Kids are cheating with technology. They're using OpenAI or other versions of that to write papers. We need to teach the kids to know facts, and we need them to know how to manipulate those facts conceptually. I know that's what we're trying to do already, but computers can really stop the kids. I've got kids who don't know punctuation and how to use capital letters and don't read cursive at all. And so I believe there's a pendulum swinging back towards paper and pencil in our schools, and I think that is a good thing. I think we need to be balanced, and we don't need to drop them off the end of the world with technology, but we need to come into a position of more balance.
Describe your knowledge of the education system overall.
Well, I think, I'm the unique person who's running for this position because I've worked as a school bus driver for a couple of years while I was starting a church up north. I also have 20 years of experience, 16 of which in special education. So I can speak to constituencies like the parents who are working so hard they hardly can go to school. I can speak for kids who have kids with disabilities. I can speak for the kids who are underrepresented in the school and in the school systems. But at the same time, as a parent, I had to fight for my second son, who's on the autism spectrum scale, go to a different school because that was what was needed for his education. But at the same token, he was bright, but he needed special instruction. My daughter, I have three sons and a daughter. My daughter skipped 3 grades in school, so she needed enrichment programs. She graduated college at 18 years old, so she needed something special. She was teaching the math class in 5th grade, algebra. So she's a genius, and she needed special help. So I know from the bottom of the most neediest kids, because I worked for 16 years with the lowest 25 percentile in the schools, all the way up to my own kids who were higher functioning. And I think I have the knowledge, insight, and hopefully wisdom to direct us to serve each one of those constituencies.
We've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
And so, all those things considered, what would be your core message to the Christians of Marion County as to why you are their candidate for this position?
Well, I've been in ministry as a pastor, and in the school system, I've looked at it as my mission field. And I'm currently involved in Dads on Duty at Lake Brewer High School, where I greet kids and I give them a gospel. I wish them a blessed day. I give them a piece of candy. And I ask them to do the same to others too. I say, take 2 pieces, give a stranger a candy, make a friend. Because I think it helps with public safety in the schools. It helps with community feeling, with friendship. It helps those kids, and they bless me by doing that ministry. So that's a small way it's a mentoring way to give back to the schools. So why would somebody want to trust me with their children? Well, I'm the guy that gets down on the floor with the rugrats, with the 2-year-olds, and I love to play with kids. I love to instruct them. We need servant leaders on the board. We need people who are going to be responsible financially, which I'm a math geek, so I love numbers. So I can do that. But we really need someone who's going to be a servant leader, so that nobody feels like I'm going to attack them or backbite them or come at them. And somebody who's going to stand up for the values that we all represent, the Judeo-Christian values. I mean, I learned so much. My wife and I went to Israel last November to visit sites. And I'll tell you, my faith, I'm more in love with Jesus than I ever have been in nearly 50 years as a Christian. And I want to do more in his service in the years to come. And I will find a way to do it. And I'm believing that this is a way where I can bring hope to kids who need an identity, a destiny, and we need to speak into the lives of our kids as best we can at the same time that we're teaching them reading, writing, arithmetic, and civics. We live in a great country, but we are in danger of losing that if we don't infuse into our education the values that mean so much to us.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. The enemy has used our institutions to target the family unit and to target children for a long time now, and it's been a steady decline. And in elections like this at the local level is where we can start to fight back against that. So thank you for running. I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview, and we'll talk again soon.
It's been a real blessing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brewer.